Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my makeup empties for August and September. I already did my everything else beauty empties for August and September, so I will link that up in the cards if you want to see everything that I finished over the past 2 months. But I am super excited to share with you guys these makeup items. I also have 3 declutters with me that I want to share with you. So yeah, let's just hop right into it. So I'm going to start with the declutters. The first item you guys will be pretty familiar with if you've been with me on my channel for a while. It is the Lorac Unzipped Gold palette, and I did depot 2 of the eyeshadows out of here. I actually originally depotted this one as well, but I realized it's not very unique in my collection. But I depotted Uninhibited and Unleashed, and I have them in my Z palette to focus on either this year or in the very beginning of 2019, because I honestly had forgotten about this palette this past year. It's not a cruelty-free brand, so unfortunately there are 2 shadows in my collection that are not going to be cruelty-free, potentially going into 2019 with me. But these 2 shades are beautiful, and the one Uninhibited actually is almost empty, so I think I should be able to finish it up pretty quickly. I just honestly forgot about this palette, so there's no reason for me to hold on to this palette. Obviously, it didn't add any value to my collection throughout 2018. And there are 2 other items that I'm decluttering. They're both from the NYX Cosmic Metals Lip Cream line. There is one in the shade Solar Energy, which is this beautiful orange shade, and then the other one is in the shade Astroid Aura, which is a true purple shade. And I kept 2 other shades from this collection, the like hot pink and the more champagne toned like lip topper. But I decided to get rid of these guys because I don't like the formula. I think that the impact of the color is phenomenal on these. Because they're a lip cream, I did not want to wear them at all because I just always was worrying that my hair would get stuck in this product because it doesn't set down. It has a very glossy, very thick texture to it, and it's just not ideal, at least for my personal lifestyle. So we're gonna transition from the declutters over to the empties with this guy because it kind of sits right in the middle. This is the Smashbox Superfan Mascara. This is a beautiful mascara formula. I am so in love with it, and I really enjoyed it while I was using it. However, I left this in my car at the very end of summer, and from the heat, I assume, because it just seemed to happen on a day where I left it in the car for about 9 or 10 hours, the wand got stuck inside of the packaging, and I don't know if it was that the actual wand, like the glue on it, melted, or if the product melted and then re-solidified and it just held on to the wand. I don't really know, but I did have this open for about 2.5, 3 months anyway. But I loved this. I was so happy with this product while I was using it. It did not smudge, didn't budge, didn't flake. Even on my hooded eyes, my oily lids, I didn't find that it transferred up above or down below, which is a major issue with most mascaras for me. It's such a rarity that I find a mascara that just does not move on me. And this really helped to separate and lengthen the lashes. And the brush was small enough that it actually worked with my small eyes. It worked on my lower lashes as well. I really did adore this. I might consider picking it up again. I actually forgot to mention this guy in the declutters section of this video. This is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Concealer. This is in the shade Alive, and as you guys may or may not know, I decided to declutter this product to my mom because I had it in my project pan and I wasn't making any significant progress on it. I just had no desire to really reach for this guy, so I decided in that video that it was time to just get rid of it and pass it on while it was still good. I'm going to be tossing this Real Technique sponge. I've actually found myself falling back in love with the sponge, but I do think that they've changed these from what the product used to be like several years back. Like, I had my original Real Technique sponge probably about 5 years ago, and I think that it was like a totally different texture than what these are now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I really don't know. I just feel like this is a lot more dense. It doesn't seem to absorb as much water. Let's move on into everything that actually is empties now. So I'm going to start off the empties with products that you guys actually haven't seen in project pans yet, which I'm super excited about finishing up all of these items. The first one is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Powder, and this is a loose setting powder which I use to bake, like very lightly bake underneath of my eyes in order to prolong the brightness under my eyes and to just make sure that my concealer kind of stays set down for the entire day. And this really does help with the longevity of my concealer under my eyes. I also use it on a sponge just to set my smile lines, just to make sure nothing really moves around there and nothing settles into those lines. But this product does have one major downfall, and that is the fact that it doesn't really cater to many skin tones at all. I find that this product doesn't really work for fairer skin tones from what I've heard. And if you're any deeper than I am, or a few shades deeper than I am, then this is gonna look too light, too bright under the eyes, and it's just going to have too much of a contrast. Like in Cover FX, I'm like an N25, N30, and my sister's an N40, and that's not a huge range, and yet this is way too bright underneath of her eyes. It caters to a very small group of people. That being said, I did repurchase it because it is so good for my personal skin tone and for my personal needs. However, I think once I finish up that one, which is going to take me quite some time, I'll probably just end up going back to the Cover FX powder, or maybe I will try out the Born This Way powder instead, since they have extended the shade range for that line. I really would like to see them extend the shade range. This next item also took me quite some time to finish up. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus eyeshadow primer, and it took me over a year to finish up this bottle. There is 10 milliliters in here, which is 0.34 fluid ounces, and you truly need the smallest amount of eyeshadow primer every single day, especially when you have small eyes like I do. So I did really find this to be quite effective, but the older that it got, like I'd say probably once it hit about the 10-month mark, I found that it started to get very dry. It wasn't as smooth to apply, but it was still very effective. It definitely helped to prolong my eyeshadow wear even when it was a little bit more of a dry texture. I definitely do recommend this. This is something that I would consider picking up in the near future because it's so inexpensive, it's so accessible. This is a mini Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. It came in the Balm Baby set, and I used this so much this year. I purchased this at the very beginning of 2018, and although it's a mini, it is over half the size of the full size, and honestly, I was wearing this like compulsively this year. I'm shocked that I think this is the first time I'm talking about this product on my channel, actually. I fell in love with it. I did take out the stopper as well and literally pulled out every single bit of product that I possibly could from this product. I used my beauty spatula to remove as much as I could, and I adored this product. I think this is a product that honestly can work for everyone because it has just the slightest amount of tint. It pretty much is my natural lip color, but it adds a little bit of volume, just a little bit of plumpness. Visually, it doesn't like actually like create a plumping sensation, but it just is a beautiful, effortless product. I'm so excited to repurchase this because I know I'm going to. Probably in November, like as like a little bit of a birthday gift, I'm gonna get this for myself because I loved it. I loved using this, and this probably is the lip gloss that changed lip gloss for me because I never used to use lip gloss before this one, and yeah, this is a beautiful thing. And another glossy kind of product, this is a Kopari Lip Glossy, and although it's called a lip glossy, I would honestly consider this more of like a lip treatment kind of product because it is coconut oil based, so it's very nourishing. Definitely does repair the lips, and this changed my lips so much when I discovered this product this year. I've talked about it several times on my channel. I know I have, and I have repurchased it. I actually purchased a tinted one as well. I'm on my third tube of it now as well. Again, this is a product I would recommend to literally everyone. If you have lips, then this is for you. Like, that's all there is to it. This is so beautiful, so nice. It gives you the smallest amount of gloss kind of look to your lips, so you could definitely wear it on its own, but I use it more so as a treatment for overnight or during the day when I'm not wearing makeup or when I'm wearing makeup. It's just perfect. This is the perfect lip product in my opinion. I am so excited about this, and you guys know I was super excited when I showed you this in my Rolling Project 10 pan. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer, and she is all done. I did decide to repurchase this, however, I got it in the shade Sunkissed, which is one shade up. It's one of the newer additions to their line actually, and it leans a little bit more red, and it definitely is a little bit deeper. I haven't played with it yet, so I don't know how it's going to suit my skin tone, but I loved this. So if I don't love that one so much, I'll hand that off to my sister and I'm gonna pick this one up again. When it comes to this one is so good. I highly recommend this if you can find a shade in this range that you love, because there's now, I think, only 4 shades in the range, which is still not enough. Physicians Formula, not enough, but if you can find one that works for you, definitely pick it up because you get so much product. It's so easily blendable. It's perfect. It is such a perfect bronzer. I really don't need to look for something else. However, I did pick up an Hourglass Mini just to try out once I finished this one up, just so I could kind of like reward myself and give myself something new to play with. This is another product I didn't finish up in a project pan actually. This is the Wet n Wild Retractable Brow Pencil, and this is one of those more wedge-shaped kind of brow pencil applicators. So it's comparable to the ABH Brow Definer, and I must say I liked the Brow Definer just a touch more when I used that in the past. I thought that this might be a really nice comparable product to it, but I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is about this that I didn't love, but I found that no matter what I did with this, it always went on a little bit patchy. Like, it just never looked like a nice precise brow look, which you're never gonna get a really precise brow look with a definer like this. It's more so just to fill in gaps and to give a little bit of definition. But even in saying that, I still found that it looked very patchy. I obviously finished it up. I didn't hate it enough to not use it, but I would use it in conjunction with the powder. So I'd go on with this just to fill in those sparse areas, and then I'd go in with the powder to just kind of coat over everything in order to give more of a perfected look and soften everything up a little bit. So it was a little bit high maintenance to use this up. I really wish that this was better suited to my brows, but maybe it would work for someone who has more of a full brow. Not that I have a very sparse brow, but somebody who has like more, like a thicker brow, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A full thick brow, and you just want to fill in like a couple little areas. This might work for you, but for me, I don't know. I'm not in love with it enough to repurchase it. I can't 100% pinpoint what it was that I didn't love about it, but the result was just never quite what I was after when I was using this. This is just a single pan from my Stila in the Lights palette. This is the shade Bliss. So happy to get this used up and out of my collection. However, definitely every time I see this pan, it makes me feel very nostalgic about that palette, because that was my first high-end palette to purchase and to add to my collection. So it definitely is a bittersweet moment, but happy to have used this up, and I don't necessarily miss it now that it's not in my collection. I do have a shade in my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette that is comparable, and I've been using my Honey Bronzer in my crease to function very similar to this one as well. So it's not like it was a totally unique shade, it just was a shade that was special to my heart because that palette's so special to my heart. This is the NYX HD Concealer in the shade Yellow, which is a really good color correcting product if you have a little bit of a more light medium to medium skin tone. This definitely wouldn't work for me right now, so I'm really happy that I used it up when I did, and it was just perfect to really color correct those more blue, purple kind of undertones in this deepest area under my eyes. Really, really effective at doing that without looking heavy or cakey. You guys already know this. I finished up the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in the shade Soft Beige, and I did end up repurchasing this in the exact same shade in order to mix it with the Soft Ivory shade as well. It honestly is such a nice foundation on my skin right now. I'm actually wearing this mixed with the Smashbox foundation today on my skin, and I'm liking the way that it looks mixed alongside that more hydrating foundation formula. But anyway, I did repurchase it. I did love this. I loved it when my skin was more oily. I love it now that my skin is a little bit more dry. I think it works perfectly in conjunction with the Real Technique sponge. I like it with the Eco Tool sponge as well. I don't like this with a brush whatsoever, but I find that it's super, super effective with a sponge when you press it onto the skin. And I find that the longevity is there for me. And I have always struggled with makeup breaking up on my face. This just does not budge. It's so crazy because it's like $8 Canadian. And I think this is a product that I'm gonna like forever repurchase because I really love it. The smell is not great, but it goes away within like a couple minutes. And honestly, I put the product with the spatula onto my palette. I don't put it directly onto my face for hygienic reasons because I always have active acne on my face. But I put it on the palette, and by the time that I go to dip my sponge into the product, it no longer has a fragrance, in my opinion. And I finished this guy up quite a while ago. This is my double-ended Urban Decay eyeliner. It was in the shade Perversion and Rockstar, and I finished up Perversion quite some time ago. It was a deep black shade, but Rockstar I just finished up over this summer, which is a deep purple. And I do like the Urban Decay eyeliner formula, but it's not something that I'm going to be repurchasing in the near future unless there's a fun shade that I can't seem to find in any other brand. I'm so happy to finally get this out of my collection because this has been lingering for so long, and yeah, it just feels really good to finally get some of these older products in my collection used up and to have just like gotten my money's worth, but to actually see them through instead of just decluttering them. And this last item I also finished up in the Roulette Pan collab with Alexi. This is the NYX Pore Filler. And you guys know while I was using this up in that project, I kept saying that this is just not a favorite primer of mine. I have yet to find, honestly, the perfect primer for my personal concerns, but this just didn't do it for me either. So I'm glad to have it finally used up and out of my collection. So that is all of the makeup products that I used up over the last 2 months. It seems like a lot in my eyes. Maybe to a lot of you guys, this won't be a ton of products to have finished in a matter of 2 months, but for me, it's like, it's a lot of makeup, and I'm really happy about that. I want to definitely keep that kind of momentum going as much as I possibly can in the coming years, because I don't want my makeup collection to just remain stagnant and for things to never leave my collection, or else there's no reason for me to be bringing in new things. I think it's really important to use up what I have in order to bring in new. So I'm really excited that seeing this many products like done and used up, it really motivates me to keep on using up what I already own. Please let me know in the comments what makeup products you guys finished up recently. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.